So we're finding out now in the last few years that, okay, yeah, we have um, insect DNA being put into salmon, and you have, all sorts of weird stuff. You got sheep, and pigs growing human ears or something
Yeah.
for transplants, and this is a new thing. But is it new?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of hidden stuff that's been going on for decades, no
Yes.
doubt. At least
Absolutely.
since World War II, and probably sometime before that,
Mm-hmm.
from the super elite, from whatever you want to call it. But so you like have their words, the Illuminati and this and that,
Yeah.
and you can call it a breakaway civilization, perhaps, just keeping it on that term. A breakaway civilization
That's an
being
interesting term.
elite groups of people who decide that, hey, we're kind of beyond these peasants,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want to have kings anymore. They don't want a feudal system anymore. So why don't we just give them it anyways, and you know,
And and
and
and
we'll
make it look like
create
they're
the false illusion of
yeah.
government and this and that, and but really we're just kind of like off-worlders here. We, maybe they're on the planet,
Right.
but they have the ability to just say, hey, screw you guys, we're gonna create World War III here and leave the planet,
Mm-hmm.
and then come back 20 years later and repopulate. Oh, that was a little dark.
That was dark, but I like it. I like going down that rabbit hole
This is called
because
breakaway civilization.
you know what? I mean, we can't be afraid to look at the reality of things.
Yeah.
There's so much evidence of like this dark society that
Mm-hmm.
has taken our people, like literally,
Yeah.
we talked
Yeah, yeah.
about Moses, right, and like set
Yeah.
my people
Right, right.
free, and
Yeah.
sometimes that's how I feel. It's like set my
Yeah.
people free,
Exactly.
because I think that we've been so manipulated, and so
Mm-hmm.
there's been such a delusion, an illusion of freedom, but
Mm-hmm.
really we are living in a state of form of slavery, really.
Yeah.
You know, like money was
Right.
created for enslavement. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember reading at some point that like in Russia, and I'm not sure if it was like Soviet or what. It was sometime around World War One, perhaps. They're trying to create some kind of like super soldier type thing with like a human hybrid ape, and
Mm-hmm.
actually having like women and apes trying to have a baby, basically.
That's
And I'm not sure
gross.
exactly how that was happening,
Yeah,
but
I
keep
don't even
it
want to.
there.
I don't want to imagine
But
that
yeah, we'll
one.
just keep. But somehow they were trying to create some kind of hybrid, and of course, my understanding is that didn't work. It just doesn't really work that
Oh,
way because the
really?
DNA was not close enough to be able to do that. But now we have the ability to splice DNA and fit it
Oh,
together,
mm-hmm.
and to where like we
Nice.
can actually do that. We could actually create human ape hybrids or
Yeah.
human lizard hybrids or human insect hybrids if we so wanted to. We have the technology for it now. But the
Mm-hmm.
question is, did we have it a long time ago? And is this just one of those things that like they kind of slowly start slipping out, kind of like cell phones and whatever,
Yeah.
this and that. And they probably had that technology 50 years before.
Well, they had it since the beginning of man, right? If we want to look at things through the eyes of the Anunnaki,
Yeah, yeah.
right? They actually like they sliced their DNA and brought us,
Yeah, and so that's
right?
the story from
Yeah. Tell us about it.
from the Sumerians and from the Bible, and they're
Uh-huh.
talking about and they talk about like half human, half fish things, and half whatever
Mm-hmm.
this and that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can go way back in time
Yeah.
to that, to those time periods. But yeah, actually going to this time, like in World War II, then you have the Nazis, you have the National Socialists who wanted to kind of like experiment with things. We have doctors who were working for Hitler and the Nazis who were experimenting with cloning of some degree. They're very interested in twins, so that means they're interested in how do you clone a human, because they wanted the
Oh,
perfect human, right? They
so it
wanted
wasn't an actual twin then. They wasn't like they were coming out of the womb. They were actually just cloning when you're talking about twins.
well, because twins are like kind of like a clone. It's kind of like the
Is
closest
it?
thing we have.
Oh.
The closest thing
A
we
natural
have.
twin.
A natural,
A natural clone.
a natural twin. You
Yeah.
could call it like a natural clone, right? Because
Right.
especially if you're identical twins, you're coming from the same
Right.
genetic material.
Mm-hmm.
At least 99% of it's going to be like the same.
That's
And
interesting.
so I think that maybe people would speculate that Mengele, the doctor's name was Mengele, and he was obsessed with twins, and so they think that maybe they're trying to learn how to clone humans. and they're working on that technology. And then, of course, the war ends, and you got a bunch of German and Nazi scientists and whatever, this and that, fleeing the country. And Argentina opened up their land for them, they said.